Would you have ever thought that Meowstic and Milotic could be a demonic combination in Pokemon Champions doubles? We're going to be trying out a crazy team that was able to finish top 10 in the last season of the Champions ranking and see how well it can perform. The team on your screen is one of the versions that helped the creator be able to reach 7th place on the first ranked season of the Champions ladder, and it features some really cool text, but mainly a demonic combination that features Meowstic and Milotic. Let's break down the team. So first Pokemon up is going to be the Citrus Berry Meowstic male that gets access to the Prankster ability, which gives it a +1 priority to any of its non-attacking moves. You might be wondering why Meowstic male specifically when we have Pokemon like Sableye, even like Klefki and Whimsicott in the format. Why choose this Prankster Mon? Well, of course, a lot of the Prankster Mons do get access to screens. Even Rain Dance is pretty common, especially to help out against Charizard Y. But there is one move that makes Meowstic kind of stand out from the other Prankster users, which is going to be Yawn. And Yawn is an interesting move because it does put the opponent into a drowsy state, and then next turn, if they don't switch out, and if they stay in, they will fall asleep. And of course, sleep is one of the strongest statuses in the game, so being able to waste turns of the opponent can be really massive for momentum. So the idea here is to be able to yawn your opponent, and it's actually a big component to this team in general, just being able to spam the sleep. And actually we do have a way of trapping with this team, which we'll showcase in a little bit. The EV spread pretty simple, just a lot of physical defense in general to take stuff like the Kowtow Cleave from the King Gambit, as well as like any of the strong physical attacks that are just ruthless in this format, and then going to have some special defense as the remainder, because you still want to be able to take moves like the Floette, the Sylveon, Gardevoir, Charizard Y, all these attacks you still want to be able to take, but mainly going to be physically defensive to be able to take on, again, a lot of strong attackers in this format. So next Pokemon that we have is going to be the standard Chopa Berry King Gambit set. The Define going to be the ability of choice to help out against opponents that want to go for a stat drop in a King Gambit, because it does raise the attack stat by 2 stages if does take a stat drop from the opposing end. Think of like Intimidate from Incineroar, think of like Rock Tomb from like a Garchomp on the opposing side. Definitely can be really useful, and King Gambit just really strong. Steel Dark is fantastic in this format, and it's the Basket Legion, especially with that Sucker Punch priority, and then the Fairy types with the Iron Head, think of Sylveon and Eternal Floette. And of course, you want Low Kick to be able to help out against opposing King Gambit, Incineroar, and sometimes Kangaskhan, which can be nice. Pretty simple, just max HP and max attack. You don't really have any speed control on this team, so you don't really need to run any speed on this King Gambit. Just want to dish out as much damage as possible and hopefully survive the attacks, especially when you have screens available. So next Pokemon we have is going to be the Mega Frostlass, and this Mega Frostlass is going to be one of the slower, modest variants, which is still able to outspeed quite a bit because of Mega Frostlass's base 120 in speed. However, it is not going for max speed because a lot of the Pokemon in this format are going with like the base 100s are going with like the higher boosting damage output with attack and special attack natures. So we don't need it as much. Going to be focusing on bulk to survive the attacks and get your hits off, or by going for the Yawn Disruption so you can actually fire off those attacks. You have pretty strong Frostlass, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, of course, really good coverage. Ice and Ghost is fantastic in this format. And then running Substitute because, hey, if the opponent is still sleeping, you can go for a Substitute, burn a turn, and it can be really nice there. So having Substitute as a way to protect itself when you do have access to, again, the Yawn Disruption, and of course, just having bulky screens. If they protect to stall out screen turns, you can set up a Substitute during that time period. Of course, with the Cursed Body, it's going to be the most useful ability on the Frostlass because it can disable a move that where if you have regular Frostlass and something hits into the Frostlass, yeah, that Cursed Body could activate and mess up game plans. And this EV spread is a bulky one. It is able to outspeed your own Sneasler on this team, but also outspeed the Adamant Garchomps, the modest Eternal Floettes, which is useful, and then still have a good amount of special attack for the damage output and have a lot of bulk to be able to live stuff like the Sucker Punch from King Gambit, as well as just take a lot of attacks with those screens up, especially with the snow defense boost that you do get access to as an ice type. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Leftovers Milotic, and we all know about the cool Hypnosis set, but there is also another set that is going to be pretty demonic that we'll be showcasing here, which is going to be the Whirlpool set. And what is Whirlpool exactly? Whirlpool is a weak water type move, but is able to trap the opponent in for several turns turns, as well as does some constant residual chip damage. We've seen moves like Sand Tomb be used in Generation 9 before, and some other stuff like Fire Spin in some rare situations. However, Whirlpool, pretty much the same variant of those. You're trapping in opponents, which is pretty important because how you play around Yawn, you generally want to switch out. So if you trap the opponent in with the Whirlpool and they can't switch, you can get a Yawn off with the Meowstic, and then you could like protect with the Milo, and then you can watch them fall asleep afterwards. So can be really solid here. Milo is really hard to be able to take down, especially with screens. Can just be a monster setting up these Whirlpools for residual damage. Meowstic setting up the screens and Yawn disruption can really build up the damage to allow your Pokemon in the back to be able to clean up. And we have Scald for initial water damage, Whirlpool to trap, Life Dew to heal both yourself and the ally, because it can be annoying for Meowstic to stick around on the field with the Yawn, can always be useful. And then Protect, of course, to stall out the Yawns for making the opponent fall asleep. Competitive is a great ability because it does give it a +2 special attack boost whenever its status drops. So you have both competitive and Defiant active on this team. And in this EV spread, you have a bit of a faster Milotic just to be able to speed creep some things in the format, but generally you'd still want to have a really solid amount of HP and defense because you want to be able to take the attacks, especially when Milotic stick around on the field, make sure the Whirlpool is still active and trapping, and then the calm nature, which Milotic has such a high special defense stat, you want to be able to boost it, and it doesn't need an investment otherwise because Milotic is one of the best special defensive tank mons in the game. Next Pokemon we have is a pretty standard Focus Sash Basculegion. The idea here, adaptability, increases the power of its water and its ghost type moves even stronger than its same type attack bonuses, and really allows it to dish out a bunch of damage. You run liquidation because you don't want to take the recoil from the wave crash, and it's pretty simple, just max speed and max attack with the adamant nature. When you have the access to the Yawn disruption, as well as screens, as well as the ability to just residual damage them with Whirlpool, the Sash Basculegion can be really hard to stop in some endgames if it is set up properly, and you still want to run Focus Sash because you're not guaranteed that the screens are going to last for too long, so just making sure that you always survive one strong hit so Basculegion can fire off the attacks what it needs to do. Finally, we have a very interesting Sneasler set to round things off. We have a White Herb Sneasler with the Unburden boost. Of course, the White Herb, when the Sneasler takes a stat drop, it will activate the White Herb and reset its stat back to neutral. And with Unburden, you do get a double speed boost when the held item is consumed, in this case, the White Herb. You have Close Combat as a way, which is a strong fighting type move, but also, of course, reduces the defense, so you can activate that White Herb. You have Dire Claw, pretty standard poison type move. And then the final two moves, yeah, these are not ones you commonly see, Throw Chop and Substitute. So sometimes there will be Basculegion endgames that can be a little bit scary, especially if you decide to bring the Sneasler. So having a way to two-shot the Basculegion is nice. It also allows you to play a surprise way into like Hyper Voice Mega Gardevoir, for example, and a few others like the Parting Shot from Incineroar, which can catch you off guard, but mainly to hit those ghost types that you think would wall the Sneasler normally. Yeah, you have Throw Chop in case you need that extra damage output into them. And then Substitute is such an interesting tech. As you can see from the Sneasler, it's a very, very bulky Sneasler. It has enough speed to be able to outspeed the Adamant Garchomps as well as the Modest Eternal Floette, so you do as much damage to them with Dire Claw and Close Combat as necessary. But as you can see, pretty much just invested into HP and defense otherwise. You're able to survive stuff like Earthquake from some Garchomps in the format, and with the Reflect and the Light Screen can really survive a shocking amount of moves. And really, just to be able to get two shots into some things in this format is kind of like the idea of what this Sneasler's design. That Substitute, again, as we mentioned before, kind of like the Frostlass. If you're able to get a free Substitute while they're stalling out the screen turns, or if like again they're asleep and you want to set up because you have a free turn, yeah, the Substitute can be really handy here. So it's a very unique Sneasler, and we'll see how much work it's actually able to perform, because are Substitute Throw Chop just a bit cute, or do they actually put in a ton of work with this team? We'll find out. So how to use the team? Well, a lot of it is either you have the strong damage output with like pretty common mons. You have like the offensive ways where you don't have to set up the screen. Sometimes Meowstic isn't that great, especially into some like offensive teams, multiple dark types, or some Farigiraf examples. You might still bring it. However, in those cases, you can still go with like the combination of like Frostlass, Basculegion, Sneasler, Kingambit. Those are pretty explanatory. You go for some strong damage output with like Frostlass, Sneasler, or Kingambit immediately, and then try to set up for endgame Basculegion. Those are modes that you can go for. But the main goal that shines with this team is going to be that Meowstic and Milotic combination, because something that you can do with this team, you can go for the Whirlpool, be able to trap the opponent in while getting that residual damage while setting up the Yawn with the Meowstic. And that Yawn, of course, they normally want to switch out, but if they are trapped in thanks to the Whirlpool, can be really hard for them to be able to get momentum. You can get several bouts of chip damage. You can get screens up. You can heal constantly with the life doing the leftovers. There's so much that you can do with the Milotic Meowstic to just get constant residual damage to set up for your end game Pokemon to be able to clean up in the end, like that Sash Basculegion, your Mega Frostlass, and of course like the heavy hitters like King Gambit and Sneasler. So Meowstic and Milotic are probably the ways you are generally wanting to go with a lot of combinations. It's really good into some teams, especially like the Glamora team that's been popping up recently, because you do have access to like Milotic. If they don't have a great way of breaking through bulky waters, especially through screens, can be really tough. Like turn 1 with Meowstic plus Milotic, you have several different options. You could go for the Whirlpool Yawn immediately. You could set up a screen and protect with the Milotic. You could even go for the Life Dew just to get a screen up and then go for the Whirlpool plus the Yawn. There's so much that you can do with this, and it can be really annoying to just break through one of the bulkiest water types, which is already hard to break through in this format, especially with screens, and then Yawn Disruption as well can be really tough. And then again, most of your offense is going to be usually coming from Pokemon in the back, and that is how you want to play this team. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. But otherwise, let's get started and play some games and see how well this combo actually performs. All right, we have the Charizard, Whimsicott, Basculegion, Eternal Floette, Glamora, and the Garchomp. So pretty standard team across the board, although running both the Floette and the Charizard here. But the standard Glamora team not running the King Gambit, which is pretty interesting. And I just realized I do not have my face cam on. There we go. There we go. So what am I doing here? I think I'm probably going to go with... I kind of like the Meowstic Milotic combination because we do have Rain Dance for the Charizard, but also just being able to trap in my opponent's team is just really good. It's also really good into standard like Whimsicott Glamora lead. It's not really much that they can do to actually punish Meowstic plus Milotic, because I could go for a light screen immediately, Whirlpool trap, and then set up a Yawn. So I actually do like that a lot. And I think in the back, Frostlass is not amazing, but it's like fine against my opponent's team. I'm trying to think about like what's the best brings here. I think it's probably Frostlass and Sneasler, because I want a fast way to be able to handle the Floette if Floette's brought instead. Yeah, let's try this out. The only thing I'm a little bit scared about is going to be Scarf Basculegion, but we'll see how this goes. Especially, I think I could probably beat Scarf Basculegion, but I'm not 100% certain. It should be Sash on the Glim. It could be Mega secondary as well. That's also another thing that I'd have to consider. But first, Whimsicott Glamora. Okay, this is pretty okay for me, as I will be able to go for the Whirlpool into the Glamora, or I could go for Whirlpool and a Whimsicott. Both work here. What do I want to do? I think I just want to go for a Whirlpool into the Glim and just go for a Yawn immediately. Yeah, then I could do the same into the Whimsicott. I don't need the light screen because there is a chance of my opponent just saying, hey, I'm going to encore you into light screen, so I don't think that's ever worth it. So Sludge Bomb going to come out into Milotic. Gets the immediate poison, which is a bit unfortunate, but sure. As we're going to see a Moonblast come out into Milo as well. Are we going to be able to get a special attack drop for the boost? Nope. Okay, that's fine. We do get the Whirlpool off into the Glamora. Now the Glamora is trapped. I also don't have to worry about T-Spikes going up yet, so this is actually pretty okay here. As, do I want the free switch? I could try to get the free switch if I really, really want to. Glamora is trapped by the Whirlpool, and now I can go for a Protect plus Yawn into the Whimsicott. The double up could be very reasonable, but I think this is still worth it. I'm going to Yawn the Whimsicott here, because then I can go for a Whirlpool into it and set up my light screen, which is pretty decent. They go for an Encore into the Milo to trap me into Whirlpool and Sludge Bomb the Milo? Or do they Sludge Bomb the Meowstic? Okay, so I could have Whirlpooled the Whimsicott, but this is still fine. I actually take a lot more from the Sludge Bomb than I guess I anticipated, but I still am pretty okay here. I can go for Yawn into the Whimsicott slot and force a switch, while... Do I want to recover the HP with Milo if they switch out the Whimsicott? I feel like they should always switch out Whimsicott, but I'm not 100% certain. I could go for a Whirlpool, but I could also switch out and try to get momentum offensively. I think into Frostlass is pretty reasonable here, and we go for a Yawn into the Whimsicott slot. I actually don't mind this. Yeah, I don't mind this. Even if the Glamora's not trapped, the Glamora's in range, I think, of the Modest Blizzard, which is kind of important for my Frostlass, and I would like to be able to... Whimsicott has two choices. It either switches out and someone gets Yawned on that slot, or it goes for an Encore attempt into Milo to go for the Protect. So... looks like Whimsicott stayed in, which is perfect, as I will get Frostlass in. As they did Encore attempt, perfect. And we know the Glamora is guaranteed to stay asleep this turn, so now I can go for a Blizzard, and I can go for a Light Screen. And this is going to be really good setup for later on. So I'm going to go for the Blizzard immediately, and we're going to go for a Light Screen. Because we're setting up for the Charizard. Whimsicotts on these teams don't tend to run Focus Sash, so they usually run Fairy Feather. They're guaranteed to stay asleep with Whimsicott this turn, which means no Tailwind up, which means I'll have faster mons in general. But it does depend on like how fast, again, it's going to be the Basculegion. But if they give me a double knockout here with the double Blizzard, then I could set up a pretty solid endgame, I think. So let's see what they decide to go for. Whimsicott's guaranteed to stay asleep here. We get the Light Screen off with the Meowstic, and this Blizzard should KO the Glamora at 43%, I imagine, definitely. Yeah, so we get a double knockout here. Beautiful. So we're up 4-2, but of course, it's nowhere near over. Nowhere near over. Glamora goes down. Do I want to Yawn here? I think I want to Yawn, right? Yeah, I would want to Yawn. Because I think the way I win into it's Basculegion Charizard. Yep, exactly. Okay. I have Light Screen, so I feel like I'm pretty good here. I think I just sack my Milotic here. I go for a Yawn into Basculegion, set up a double Protect scenario, and then double up the Basculegion the next turn. Yeah, that seems pretty good to me. So I'm going to go for a Yawn into the Basculegion and just switch out my Frostlass. If they decide to Mega Evolve, that's fine. But I'm curious on what they decide to go for here. Yeah, they do Mega Evolve immediately. So this is perfect. Assuming that the Bass doesn't Protect here. I don't know if they would Protect here. If they Protect, it's still like pretty alright for me because I confirm it's not Scarf. I just need to confirm if the Basculegion's Scarf or not. And if it isn't, that's fine. We get a Yawn off, which is huge. They go for Last Respect. They target down my Milotic slot, so Milotic goes down. Is this Weather Ball as well, or is this Heat Wave? Do I survive it with the Light Screen? Probably not, I imagine. Yeah, okay, Meowstic goes down, but that's fine. Ooh, wait, I guess my Caesar doesn't have Protect, which is actually a bit weird here. On the bright side, again, we do have Light Screen up, but the Basculegion was faster than a Charizard. That doesn't confirm anything, but yeah, that is actually kind of annoying. The Caesar's bulky enough to survive an attack from the Basque. I think I just go for Dire Claw here. Into the Charizard and get as much damage as I can into Charizard. I imagine you respect the Frostlass because of it's probably more damage up, but we'll see. Okay, it is Scarf on the Basculegion. Good to know. Okay, so this is the perfect endgame scenario setup here. Dire Claw into Charizard is actually a 2-shot on Charizard, so I should have a guaranteed win. Air Slash, we have Light Screen up. They crit me? Okay, I think I still am okay, but this could have been like, this was a guaranteed if I didn't get crit. So I'm going to Shadow Ball the Basque because it'll take the knockout, and I don't want to risk the Wake Up here from the Basque. And then I guess single target Blizzard off in the Charizard. So let's see. There's also the world where Charizard protects you. stall out a potential turn of the light screen, as well as Bass potentially be able to wake up. So I think I always Shadow Ball here. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. If Shadow Ball KOs the Bass, which it should, because it's like near max special attack Frostlass, we should be able to get a single target Blizzard off and win. Yep. KOs the Bass, beautiful, and now Blizzard will KO the Charizard. So it could have been less scary, because if we had like 2 ways to just go for Dire Claw on the Charizard, it would have been fine. But you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. We still are able to win the game, fortunately. But a bit scarier than I was hoping for. All right, we have Eternal Floette, the Pelipper, Dragonite, Sneasler, King Gambit, and Basket Legion. Okay, we have Rain Dragonite, which is kind of okay. I mean, we do have Frostlass, which is pretty good. I am a little bit concerned about how much damage the Floette is doing. I think it's probably a game where I do like Meowstic plus the Milo, trap them in immediately, and then probably in the back I bring the King Gambit as well as the Frostlass, which should generally be pretty good against this team. I'm kind of curious on what they bring offensively against me. I think they're probably bringing the Floette over the Dragonite just because the Frostlass seems pretty demon for them to handle. I think they're probably bringing King Gambit, the Pelipper, Basket Legion, and then the last mon I'm not 100% certain on. So let's see what my opponent decides to go here. All right, what are you leading? Basket Legion, Sneasler, okay. Versus Meowstic Milo. This is fine, I suppose, because I can go for Reflect immediately, which is pretty safe. And I'm just going to go for a Whirlpool, I guess, into the Sneasler to trap it. Do I want to trap in Sneasler? Yeah, because if I get rid of Sneasler or Yawn it, King Gambit's really good, right? So I go for a Whirlpool in the Sneasler. They go for Fake Out, which is cool. I mean, it's not like they can do too much damage regardless here, as we do get a Reflect up. Like, they could flip turn, they could go for Last Respect for, like, the bit of damage. They go for Wave Crash immediately, which is fine. Yeah, because Meowstic actually eats 2 because of the Citrus Berry, which is perfect. I get put right into Citrus Berry range. And, like, the Wave Crash damage put them in range of Sucker Punch, so this is looking pretty good for me. I can't trap in Basket Legion because it's a Ghost type with Whirlpool, unfortunately, so I have to go for a Yawn into the Sneasler as well as a Whirlpool here. Okay. This is looking pretty decent so far of a start. We do get a Yawn off into this Sneasler. This might be a double up in Meowstic, or they just target separately here. Wave Crash going to come out. Meowstic hangs on. Perfect. They go for Dire Claw, double up into Meow. That's fine. Okay. So I do not mind this spot, especially since we do confirm that the Basket Legion is most likely Choice Scarf, because we did see that the Basket Legion did move before the Sneasler, and most Sneaslers are not that slow to underspeed Basket Legion. So it should be Choice Scarf guaranteed on the Basket Legion, which is nice here. Now I think I go King Gambit, or do I go on the Frostlass? Both aren't terrible here. I think I would want to go King Gambit, and I would want to click Sucker Punch Whirlpool in... Do I want to click Sucker Punch Whirlpool? I kind of want to go King Gambit and double on a Frostlass. But I don't think that's a good play either. You know what? I'm going to go King Gambit here. I'm going to go King Gambit, and I might make a risky play here, which is kind of fine, I suppose. I really want to punish like Floette coming in. I feel like they should switch out. Like, I really think they should switch out the Bass. They know they're in Sucker Punch range. You know what? I'm going to go Frostlass, and I'm going to click Whirlpool into the Basket Legion slot. I'm reading a switch. Let's see if this works. Yep, they do switch out, because like Sucker Punch can be super obvious here. Floette does come out. I almost Iron Headed that slot, but this is okay still, because I get to trap in both of these Pokemon, which is pretty good for me. Okay, bring out the Frostlass. They go for close combat. Beautiful. And we hit the Whirlpool, and we get a bunch of residual damage into that Floette. So that's actually really nice here. Okay. I don't have light screen up, which is a bit unfortunate, but like every bit of damage on that Floette actually does matter. Okay, Sneasler asleep, which is cool. Now I can go for Blizzard plus Shadow Ball. These are the main threats to King Gambit. If I remove them, I should be able to win the game with King Gambit plus Milo combination. So I'm going to go for Blizzard, and I'm going to go for a Scald into the Floette. If they go for Dazzling Gleam, they don't KO the Frostlass. If they go for Light of Ruin, it's a Blizzard plus Light of Ruin recoil plus Scald. That would allow me to get a double knockout here, or should, and then I should be able to win through that. So let's see. Unless they protect, but I don't think they want to take the recoil from the Whirlpool. Oh wow, they did. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, I suppose. Okay. Because I do KO the Sneasler. Do I live for Last Respect to Reflect? I'm pretty sure I do. And they can't switch out the Pelipper on the Floette slot. Interesting. Okay. Because with more turns of Reflect, I should be fine. We know it's not Dry Knight back most likely because they brought the Floette. Unless it's King Gambit back, which it's a bit annoying, but still alright. But yeah, they do bring out the Basky Legion, which is fine because I do have Reflect up. Yeah, so I do live Last Respect or any attack that they can throw off here. And I should take this turn to get as much damage as I possibly can. I realistically think it's just Blizzard Scald. Yeah, I think it's just Blizzard Scald. Get as much damage into the Floette as possible. Try to eliminate the Floette or put in range of Sucker Punch from my King Gambit, which is kind of like the ideal play here. So let's see, because I don't think they knock out Frostlass with Reflect, the Snow Defense boost, with only one Last Respect power-up boost. Oh, and they target the Milo too, so this is super ideal. That did a bit more to Milo than I thought. Oh, they're faster, but they go for Gleam. Okay, yeah, no, they are 100% screwed here. As we get a Blizzard off into the Floette, good damage, and Scald. I don't know if Scald will actually take the knockout that range, but if it doesn't, Whirlpool will take the knockout, so that's fine. Yeah, I barely missed a knockout, but we get a burn, but the Whirlpool was going to knock it out anyway, so this is okay. And we should be good to go. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Reflect wears off, but we have King Gambit in the back. We know it's Scarf Bass. I could just Sucker Punch the Bass. The question is what the last Pokemon is. It's Pelipper. Okay, yeah, I don't think... I mean, they could go for, I guess, a Tailwind here. Be faster than the Frostlass. I don't want to switch into Wave... Oh, wait, no. It's... I can only switch into, like, Last Respect or Weather Ball. I think the play is just to always hard switch to King Gambit, actually. Because Frostlass is probably better into the Pelipper. Do I Protect? I guess Protect is... Actually, no. Protect is the best play here in Milo. Because even if they double the Gambit slot, it's fine. Unless they crit the Gambit. They have to crit the Gambit on the switch. If they crit the Gambit on the switch, I would probably lose anyway. But I think this is the best way. Yeah, they Last Respect to Milo because it's hard to remove the Milo. And they go for a Weather Ball here, yeah. But I can now Sucker Punch the Gambit. Last Respect definitely... Was Last Respect KOing the Gambit that range? Maybe. But I think it's really likely they doubled there. I think they either Tailwind or they went for Weather Ball. Or Hurricane, potentially. Which is fine. Now I get a guaranteed Sucker Punch into the Bass slot. And we go for a Hard Swap to Frostlass, I think. Actually, no. Do we Hard Swap to Frostlass? No, I don't think we risk that. I think we just go for a Scald into the Pelipper and get as much damage as we possibly can. Because we get the KO into the Basky Legion with the Sucker Punch guaranteed here. So Bass goes down. The Pelipper can only knock out one. This is either Hurricane to Milo or they go for an attack into the King Gambit. There's slow Pelipper. Weather Ball, that's fine. I mean, I could have went Frostlass and made that Ice type Weather Ball, but like, I think this is still pretty alright because now I have a single target Blizzard to threaten the Pelipper, and I can also go for Life Dew on top. So yeah, I could also go for Scald into the Pelipper, but if it does survive, it's probably Citrus Berry, so I might as well just go for Life Dew for the recovery onto my my Frostlass, so it can maybe live Hurricane at that range. Alright, we have Charizard, Garchomp, Rotom Wash, Sylveon, King Gambit, and Aerodactyl. Alright. Sylveon's scary. They got quite a few offensive threats here. What do I want to go? I kind of want to do the Milotic plan with the Meowstic because it should be pretty good against the team in general. Yeah, I think it's pretty good against the team in general. I do want to bring... Do I want to bring Frostlass, Basky Legion, or do I bring the Sneasler? Sneasler is good against the King Gambit, and I am very weak to King Gambit if I don't bring the Sneasler, I suppose. Yeah, I think I have to. Even though I would love Basky Legion, because I'm a bit weak to Aerodactyl with this plan, it's not like the worst, I think. I don't really like my King Gambit here because it's slower than most of my opponent's Pokemon. I'm worried about the Charizard as well as the Garchomp combination, though I don't know if they'll actually bring Garchomp into this. Let's see. So it's probably dual Mega or... I mean, there's 3 potential Megas, but Chomp shouldn't be a Mega on this team. It should be Charizard for sure, Aerodactyl maybe. The idea here is to kind of trap something offensively, whether it's going to be the Garchomp, the King Gambit. Unfortunately, I can't Yawn King Gambit because Prankster Yawn doesn't work on dark types. It's immune to the Prankster move, so that's kind of unfortunate here. If I could trap Aerodactyl, that would be solid as well. That's also not a bad one. But let's see what my opponent decides to go with, lead-wise. Okay. What are you leading? Aerodactyl Rotom. All right. That's fine. I mean, they don't really do too much to my team in general. I think I could just go for a Light Screen and a Scald. Or do I Whirlpool? I probably Whirlpool, right? I could burn the Aerodactyl potentially, though. A lot of options. I think I'm just gonna go for... But here's the thing. KOing the Aerodactyl is like priority number 1. So I think I'm gonna Whirlpool the Aerodactyl, and I think I'm gonna get a Light Screen up. Alright, they stay in, which is perfect. I do get the Light Screen up. So I'll take the T-Bolts a lot better. They go for Scarf, Thunderbolt. Okay, good to know. And Rock Slide. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't do too much damage. Unfortunately, we flinch. Okay. So that was the one unfortunate part about this plan, is that can happen, but we're gonna go for a Yawn into the Rotom slot and protect the Milo, because we can't risk Rock Slide T-Bolt into Milo taking the knockout. I could Reflect, but I would have to fight through another Rock Slide flinch round. I think next turn I go for Reflect Whirlpool. So we're gonna Yawn the Rotom, hopefully force a switch, but I did lose a lot of momentum. They read me, so okay. Oh, they go for Tailwind instead. Okay, that's fine, because I don't think the Tailwind really helps out here. Alright, that's fine. Are they going to protect this upcoming turn, or are they going to spam Rock Slide? I could read Rotom to protect here, but I think my best play is probably to Whirlpool, Aerodactyl, and Reflect. Yeah, I like that. Because if the Rotom's switching out, that means I'm not taking too much damage with Milo this turn. Charizard comes in. Oh, I would have loved to Whirlpool that, but that's fine. Oh, they double swap. That's actually good for me. Okay. Because I get to eat my berry, which is huge. All right. King Gambit. Okay, that makes sense. All right, we get a Reflect up with our Meowstic, and we get a Whirlpool off with our Milo. So that's nice. We get a crit on the King Gambit, sure. Do they know the team? Do they respect the Milo? Do they think they could Solar Beam here? Because if they Solar Beam, they're in a really bad shape. I think I'm going to go for Whirlpool into the Charizard, and I'm going to go for a Rain Dance. Yeah, because I can trap in Charizard or Rotom, I guess, if it comes in. If Aerodactyl comes in, I think it goes down to Whirlpool plus the recoil, so that would actually be nice. I don't know if I'll live Kowtow out the range from King Gambit, but that would be nice if I do. I just want to make sure that they don't have a Solar Beam option in a Milo, because even if I have Light Screen up, I might go down to the Solar Beam because I've taken so much damage already. So yeah, if they Mega Evolve and I get the Rain Dance plus the Whirlpool Trap, I'm in such a good spot. So this is the best case I could have asked for here. All right, let's see. Rain Dance will come out from my Meowstic. Also, with the chip damage we've done to the King Gambit, this is looking really nice. And they're gonna Solar Beam. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, yep. They go for Assurance, which isn't gonna KO. Yeah, Kowtow would have been close, but probably not. And here comes a Whirlpool into Charizard that's trapped, and I could go for so many plays now. I could go for Yawn into the Charizard. I could hard swap, but I think I would probably want to stay in here. Yeah, this is looking really nice. They're probably gonna double the Milo with the Solar Beam plus the Yawn, or Solar Beam plus the Assurance play. So I'm just gonna protect my Milotic and go for a Yawn into the Charizard. Oh, this is really nice. This is what this team likes to do. So we get the Yawn off in the Charizard. We don't have to risk a... I guess we could have swapped. I think swapping Sneasler wouldn't have been awful here, but I think, like, this is still pretty good. Okay, if they Assurance the Meowstic, that's fine, too. I get a free switch to Sneasler, and now I can go for Close Combat plus Scald. Which is pretty good for me, because I'll get the speed boost with my Sneasler. Yeah, like this is looking really nice here. Light Screen wears off, which is a bit unfortunate because dealing with the Rotom will still be a bit annoying, but granted, I am in a much better spot than usual. I will go into Sneasler. Do I want to sub here? I could click sub, but if it's dual Wing Baits Aerodactyl, there's no point, right? The Weather Ball from Charizard would hurt though. I guess I could Life Dew and Dire Claw the Charizard slot, because I do have a turn reflect, so I should have dual Wing Beat. You know what? I'm gonna Life Dew and I'm gonna Dire Claw the Charizard. I think that makes the most sense to me. Yeah, because if Gambit protects, I get a free Life Dew, and now we get Recovery, which is really nice here. We get the Dire Claw. This should KO. Oh, it didn't KO. Get a Para. Okay. Which is actually kind of bad for me because I would have preferred Speed Order have been the Charizard gets the Weather Ball off and then I get the Life Dew. So that actually is a really bad para for me, unironically. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess I could have subbed here. Sub Scald would have also worked. But that's unfortunate. Been a bit unlucky here, yet it's still possible to win, I suppose. What are you going into? Now I don't go. Now I don't live Aerodactyl. They could go Rotom too. Man, it was so much easier if I just... It was so much easier. I'm actually surprised the Charizard took the Dire Claw that well, though. Alright, let's see. Aerodactyl or... If they go Aerodactyl, I just click Scald. It is Rotom coming out. Okay. I'm just going to Scald the King Gambit, who might Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch doesn't KO either of my Pokemon, though, so I think I'm fine with that. I'm going to Scald the King Gambit because I know Milo always survives a turn. I'm going to Close Combat the Rotom. They might go for a T-Bolt into my Sneasler, which is fine. Because I get the KO on King Gambit response. Can I beat the Aerodactyl? I think that's going to be the big question. I don't know. Because taking all that damage with Sneasler was not ideal. Okay, they did T-Bolt the Sneasler, okay. I think it's going to depend on if it's Sash Era or not. Oh, wait, what? Oh, they're really fast, Gambit. And I mean extremely fast. Okay, I KO the King Gambit. If they Tailwind, it doesn't matter because they're Scarfed. They should just be spamming Rock Slide at this point anyway. Okay. Reflect wears off. We go into Frostlass. I just don't know if I beat the Rotom. Because I don't know if Thunderbolt Rock Slide KOs the Frostlass. It's going to be close. I have bulk, but we'll see. Thunderbolt Rock Slide super close also into the Milo slot. I think I think Whirlpool will put the Aerodactyl into range that I need it to. I think it's worth I think it's worth trying to Whirlpool and protect the Frostlass this turn. Because I think Milo lives any double up that is in Thunderbolt Dual Wing Beat specifically. Let's see. Nice, they doubled the Frostlass, good. Okay, that's what I expected. And even if they doubled up Milo, I should probably have lived. Oh, why? Why? Oh no. I can win, but it's just looking so much less likely now. I'm gonna need some RNG in my favor, I think. I'm gonna go for Blizzard Scald at this point. I think if I get the Whirlpool off, even if the Whirlpool plus the one round doesn't KO it, I think after 2 I would KO it. So all I have to do is like protect Shadow Ball potentially. Oh, that's so bad. Now I have to Blizzard here. Oh, they targeted the Milo. The Rock Slide's close. Okay, that did less to Frostlass than I thought. I need this not to be Mega Aerodactyl. Okay, I got the Blizzard off. Surprise, surprise. Okay, it wasn't Mega Aerodactyl. Okay. Although, I think I had to protect Rotom then. It was Mega Aerodactyl. It wasn't Sash. It was probably Sash Gambit if it's fast assurance like that. Because my Milo should have... Actually, wait. It was Jolly Max Speed King Gambit. Because they didn't have Tailwind, I'm pretty sure, when the assurance went off. I guess I always protect. I don't remember how many Thunderbolts they clicked. Is Thunderbolt 12 or 16 power points in this game? Because that I actually don't know. Because they changed a bunch of power points. I don't remember if I can stall out T-Bolts. I don't think Shadow Ball KOs at this rate. I don't know. The Blizzard did do a lot of damage. I think it's 16. I think I just hope for Shadow Ball. Do I go for Shadow Ball crit or Blizzard Freeze? I guess Blizzard Freeze higher odds. Thunderbolt. I would have survived with Frostlass. I go for Shadow Ball. I guess maybe I should have attacked with Frostlass. I didn't think I was taking the Rock Slide that well. Okay, yeah, it's over. That is one of the unfortunate things about Whirlpool. I was covering the Sash. If I went for Scald, it obviously was better, but I had no idea if it was going to be Sash or Dual Mega on the team. And I covered for the Sash angle. It didn't work. If I Scalded, it would have, or even if I just got the damage, I think I was in a good spot, because then I think I just protect Shadow Ball and then I'm in a really good spot. But yeah, unfortunate. I'm pretty sure Thunderbolt has way too much power points, so I don't think I even try to stall out here. You know, there is... What could I have done better? Well, also, like, the Sneasler thing was unfortunate, because I think if I got the Life Dew off, I might have been able to survive Thunderbolt from the Rotom, which is the sad part. And if I survived Thunderbolt from the Rotom, obviously they either had to double the Sneasler with Sucker Punch plus T-Bolt to KO it, or I would have had the option to just, you know, go for a... I would have had more HP on the Milo, and that more HP on the Milo might have actually been crucial. Alright, we have Charizard, Whimsicott, King Gambit, Basculegion, Garchomp, and Glimora. This is going to be the standard Glim team that's been very common in the format recently. Alright, what am I going here? I think I'm just going to do the same thing I did against the previous one. Milotic plus Meowstic seems pretty good with just the Whirlpool strats in general, which should be pretty solid here. And then in the back... What am I bringing here? They do have a Basket Legion this time. Or did they drop King Gambit or Basket Legion last time? I do not remember. I think I'm still going to go with Frostlass and the Sneasler again. Because I don't really need King Gambit in this matchup, especially because there's no Floette. And like my own Basque is good, but I don't think it's needed here. It's pretty slow against a lot of the things that my opponent has access to. So let's see if this is going to work or not. All right, what are you going to bring? Charizard Glamour. Okay, that's fine. Versus Milotic Meowstic. Very interesting lead. I'll say that much. I think we just go for a Rain Dance Whirlpool here into the Glim. Or do we target Charizard? Ooh, that's tempting. I kind of like Whirlpool. No, I actually like the Whirlpool and the Glim more. Yeah, I'm gonna Rain Dance Whirlpool the Glim. The reason I'm gonna go for it is because A, Charizard can protect the Scalp, but it's gonna go on the offense immediately, which is fine. 2, unless the Charizard's clicking Solar Beam turn 1, I was thinking it would switch out the next turn, so this works out fine. I can Light Screen anyway, so this is pretty ideal here. They go for a Spiky Shield, which is cool. Okay. I mean, I still get a Rain Dance. I guess I targeted Char. Oh, they don't protect. Okay, this actually works out really well for me because I get a free Rain Dance up and I don't take any damage. So I can set up a Light Screen situation. I could go for a Whirlpool plus Yawn the following turn. Yeah, this is pretty decent. Okay. I mean, I'll gladly take that. So I'm going to force a Charizard out. I guess the question is, what are they bringing out next? It could be King Gambit. Do I just want to set up a screen? A screen is safe. They could go into Basque Legion, I suppose, which would be annoying damage-wise, but granted, it's not like terrible for me. I think we're just going to go for a Whirlpool into the Glim and set up the Light Screen. I think that's generally pretty safe. They do retreat to Charizard because it doesn't really do much and they don't want to take a boosted water move. Basque Legion is their choice. Okay, that's fine. So this is the best case where I get a Light Screen off and now I can get a Reflect the following turn and then I can get a Yawn situation off. So they go for Sludge Bomb into Milo, but with that Light Screen, we take nothing from that and we do get a Whirlpool off into the Glim. So pretty good damage into the Glimora, and now we can start building up damage into Basque as well. So I do like that a lot. Okay. Do I want to trap the Bass? Well, I don't technically trap the Bass. The Bass can flip turn in this situation, which is fine. I think I just go for a Scald and a Reflect. Because if I get a burn on the Bass, it's huge. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for Scald and Reflect here. They Spiky Shield with the Glim, which is perfect because I don't really need to target the Glim here. So that's fine. And I get a Reflect up with the Meowstic. So now, do we live an attack from the Basque? We should. They go for Wave Crash immediately, which is cool. They're taking a bunch of recoil. Yeah, I do survive with the Meowstic, which is nice. And I get a free Scald off. Okay, pretty good turns. Pretty good turns. Scald into the Basque Legion. Pretty good damage. And we get leftovers. Recovery. I guess the question is, do I want to get rid of the Glim now or save it? Because it's not like Glim is the most threatening mon here. The Basque is a bit more problematic, realistically. But I think we targeted the Basque here. Do I want to say Meowstic? Not really, because I can still change the weather with Frostlass. I think we're just going to go for Yawn into the Glim. Because I don't think the Bass hard switches, yeah. And I don't think I need to get Yawn off in the Bass because it's probably going to KO itself or... Okay, we confirm it's not Scarf Bass, so I can bring in Frostlass super safely. Cool. Alright. That's nice. Meowstic faints, that's cool by me. And I could set up a very interesting endgame scenario here. So the Basque is in range of Blizzard now, which is nice. No Scald Burns. Okay. We trapped a Glim in, and it's gonna be falling asleep the next turn, so I could focus down another slot if I want. I'm gonna go Frost last, and I think I'm just gonna double protect, just so Glim goes asleep here. Yeah, I think that's my play here. If they go in a Charizard, then I just Mega Evolve, click Blizzard, and Scald, and then that's completely fine. So yeah, I just double protect here. I'm curious on what the last mon is, where it's King Gambit, Garchomp, or Whimsicott. If it's Whimsicott, it could be a bit annoying with Encore, but granted, Sneasler should be in a good spot. They're not going to switch out, which makes sense here. Is the Glim freed from Whirlpool the next turn, or is it this turn? I think it's next turn. Sludge Bomb into Frostlass. They go for the Wave Crash into Frostlass as well. That's fine. Rain stops. Whirlpool lives on 1, which is not surprising, and it goes to sleep. I think it's freed the next turn, which would be ideal because I would like a sleeping Glim around. I'm faster than max speed Basculegion here, so I think I just go for a Life Dew here for recovery, and I go for a Shadow Ball into the Basque. Yeah. I don't think I have to Mega Evolve yet because, of course, we are saving the Mega Evolution for the Charizard. We have screens up, which is nice here. If they Protect, that's cool. They go for Spiky Shield. They go for Protect, which is surprising. Does Glim go down? If Glim goes down, it's still fine. I just Mega Evolve, Blizzard, Scald, whatever comes in the following turn anyway, so it's like whatever. I do get free recovery with the Milo, so I'm back to full, which is nice. And if they went for Aqua Jet into the Frostlass, I would have had the thing. Yeah, like they're freed from Whirlpool. Light Screen wears off, but I think we're in a pretty good spot now. I think this turn I would... Maybe I have to take the double knockout. Maybe that's what they're implying here. I think I do have to take the double knockout, unfortunately. I think we're going to go out into Sneasler for the Milo slot, and we're going to click Blizzard here. Blizzard should knock out the Basque, and it would knock out the Glim at this range. They could also switch out if they want to, but I don't think they will. I could also have Shadow Ball, but I'm not risking the Glim waking up this turn. So I'm going to Blizzard and go out into Sneasler, so I have some offense against King Gambit if it's King Gambit back. They go for Jet, that's not surprising. I don't take much damage. And I go for Blizzard. Goodbye, both. Okay. Now Sneasler's in. And I wonder if I could bluff like Fake Out, because I could Fake Out the Charizard theoretically, but we'll see. Alright, what's the final 2 that you have here? Reflect wears off. So no screens. Charizard, that's going to get the sun up, plus a partner. Charizard? King Gambit, okay. That's not too surprising here. Okay, I think my play here is just to click Substitute with my Sneasler and get in Milotic on this slot. I don't know if they're going to double protect. I don't know. They could fear... There's a lot of plays that I could make here if they don't know the team. I could go for Close Combat immediately. I could go for Dire Claw. Both seem reasonable, but I think they're likely to double up the Milo slot or double protect, it looks like, which is really good for me if I got the substitute play right. Oh, so good. So good for me. Okay, nice. Now I think I'm in a commanding spot with the substitute on Sneasler, because now we can go for Close Combat into the King Gambit slot. And the Close Combat's going to do massive damage to King Gambit, and we can go for a... I think I just protect here, because even if I lose Sneasler this turn, it's fine. Yeah, I go for Close Combat and protect here. The reason I do this is because I don't want Solar Beam happening into Milo. I think they probably do focus down the Sneasler anyway, but that's fine if they do, because getting the damage into King Gambit means I get a free switch into my Frostlass. But looks like they don't even break the sub. I do get the Close Combat off into the King Gambit. Good damage to the King Gambit, but let's see. What does a Charizard do? We get White Herb. Heat Wave? It is Heat Wave. Okay, that's fine. I think I'm guaranteed, right? I could sub here if I want to. I think my best play... I think my best play is just to go Frostlass and click Scald into King Gambit, or I could target Charizard. I think they always click Heat Wave here. I just don't know if they protect. If I get rid of King Gambit, I win with my Frostlass. I think it's likely they protect though, so I could have, I guess, Scalded here. Scald would have been fine too. Let's see. But I like having the Snow up so they can't Solar Beam just in case. They Sucker Punch actually. Did they Solar Beam? No, they just Heat Wave. Okay, that works for me. Because I'm pretty sure Milo just 1v1s the Charizard now, so I should be good here. Nice. So I do get a Scald off into the King Gambit slot, which will take the knockout and King Gambit, and now I can go for... I don't know if that was right though. Was it right to switch Frostlass? I mean, I never risked Solar Beam crit by that. Like, Sucker Punch and the Heat Wave crit wasn't knocking out Milo, which I think was good. I think this was still an okay play. Like, Frostlass going down to Heat Wave was fine because I didn't need it in the end game. I just need to make sure the Charizard didn't have Sun up so it could Solar Beam me. Now I have Dire Claw into Scald. And yeah, there's like no reason to click substitute with Sneasler. I survive any attack from the Charizard that is an Air Slash, I suppose. And Scald will take out the Charizard, I think, after Dire Claw. I mean, it depends. And if they protect, I get free leftovers recovery, which is fine. And it's like, stalling out the weather is actually like, whatever, because it's not like the sun comes back. Unfortunately, the sun does not come back up when the snow is gone. But yeah, we'll go for Dire Claw plus Scald. I could have got a Life Dew or Substitute up, but there's no reason not to just Dire Claw and Scald. There's nothing I think the Charizard can do in this situation. Let's see. If they had Air Slash, maybe. Like, they could still Air Slash. Like, they have to survive Dire Claw. They have to survive Dire Claw plus Scald. Air Slash KO my Sneasler, which I think they probably live the Scald after this, but we'll see. Let's see. The Heat Wave, though, doesn't KO either. And I win the game off this. Yeah. Because even if they don't KO, let's say they burned both my Pokemon. I mean, they didn't crit my Sneasler, so it was like guaranteed over, but I would just spam Life Dew plus Dire Claw. Now I just Dire Claw Life Dew, I suppose. If they want to play like a Protect Charizard for no reason again angle. Wait, was I faster? I mean, it doesn't matter. They can't beat Milo regardless. Milo just wins here. Yeah, and I am faster with my Sneasler than the Charizard, so the Charizard goes down. Beautiful. And we do take the win, so definitely was a great start. There were a few things that could have probably been a bit better if I was able to like get a bit more damage to Basket Legion early, but overall pretty solid, I'd say. All right, we have our Chaladon, Mousehold, Basket Legion, Incineroar, Pelipper, Gardevoir. Okay. Rain with Gardevoir. Is this the Hirofumi team? I think this might be Hirofumi's team. Was there an Chaladon on that? I guess there was. Okay, I think Hirofumi used this team recently. A really strong player from Japan. Who do I want to go in this matchup? Because Rain is not the easiest per se to beat, especially with Gardevoir. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. I want to say lead-wise, Meowstic plus King Gambit might be my play here. I don't know if they lead Arch into... The problem is, I don't really have a great way of beating the Arch right away with Rain. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a problem. I want to try out Meowstic plus the King Gambit, because I think setting up a screen plus King Gambit should be in a pretty decent spot. Oh, this is gonna be tough. I think it's Sneasler, Frostlass back. I don't think the defensive play works against this team of Milo because of our Chaladon, which is going to destroy me with Electroshock, but also like Super Fang Mousehold just does way too much damage to where I can't do the Yawn situation. So I think I have to switch up the game plan here. I can't really go for that. Mouse with Gardevoir, that's not too surprising to me. Okay, so this works out. I do get Meowstic plus the King Gambit in. They trace Prankster, which shouldn't matter here. I'm gonna go for a Light Screen plus a Iron Head. The problem is they could either Super Fang Hyper Voice, they could Follow Me Hyper Voice, or they could go for Protect Super Fang. They have 3 reasonable plays here. I think Super Fang Hyper Voice is less likely, so it's either Protect Super Fang or Follow Me Hyper Voice. All are reasonable. I think we still go for Light Screen. The question is, what am I doing with you? I think I go for an Iron Head, and I think I target a Mouse. Because they could also switch out Gardevoir, I guess, in Archalon, and it looks like that might be the play that they chose. Okay. I'm glad I Iron Head the Mouse, even if it protects. Because I don't give a stamina boost to the Archalon. Okay, that works. Is this Rain Dance Mouse? Go for Super Fang into the King Gambit. That's fine. Because the King Gambit around is more important. We get an Iron Head off into the Mouse. Okay. Now we can go for a Yawn into the Archalon slot, and I have a few plays I could go for. It's interesting. I think they have to be Rain Dance, right? Otherwise, their last mon has to be Pelipper. And I think it has to be one of the two. I really want to click Yawn Iron Head because I don't really need King Gambit that much if it's like endgame. I think I just go for... Actually, no, I kowtow because if it's Bass for some reason, I go for this. Okay, they give me the Yawn off, which is kind of huge. Okay, is this Rain Dance Electroshot? I wouldn't be surprised. I think King Gambit lives after the Light Screen. Yeah, it is Rain Dance Mouse. I actually don't even remember the team. I just seen the 6. I'm pretty sure. So Rain Dance Mouse makes sense. They go for Electroshot. Perfect. All right, this is looking pretty decent here. I should survive 1. Yeah, perfect. So I get the kowtow off into the Mousehold. Mousehold goes down. I don't know the Bask item, which is a bit unfortunate, but this is still pretty good because the Archalon will have to go to sleep. We got rid of the Friend Guard Redirect Mon too. Gardevoir comes in. Okay, this is super ideal. We're gonna spam Yawn into the... I want to kowtow to Arch and I want to Yawn the Gardevoir, right? Who do I want more? Actually, there's no easy answer, I'd say. I could Sucker Punch the Guard and Yawn the Arch as well if I expect Hyper Voice. I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Guard and Yawn the Arch. Let's see. There's no way you set up Trick Room if I click Iron Head here. It could be Trick Room Guard though. Yeah, they do switch out Arch. This is Basky Legion. Yep. The question is, should I have kowtowed or should I have Suckered? Because if they Hyper Voice, I think Sucker is always a play into Guard and Yawn the Bass. Because I get the damage into Gardevoir to put in range of Shadow Ball, which is kind of massive. So let's see. I do get a Yawn off. And the Sucker Punch. Okay, so I did get the play right. So I get a Sucker Punch into Guard. And they did Hyper Voice. Okay, perfect. This was best case scenario because now I get to go out into Frostlass and I get to change to Weather. So we go out on a Frostlass, and I think we click Reflect, and we click Shadow Ball with Mega. And now they no longer have the Rain, which is going to be massive in the matchup. So we're going to go for Reflect, and we're going to go for a Shadow Ball. And we're going to target the Gardevoir slot. If Guard hard switches Arch, just makes it more difficult, but granted, I should still have a pretty nice end game. They stayed in with Bass too. I don't know if this is flip turn or not, which is fine. Because if I KO the Gardevoir, I'm in a really good spot, but we'll see. Okay, they didn't protect either, so this is super ideal. I do get the Reflect off. Is it Scarf Adaptability? It is Scarf, yeah, and it goes for flip turn. Okay, super ideal. They crit my Meowstic, which was scary because I was like, why is my HP dropping so fast? I do get the KO and the Gardevoir, and I get Yawn off next turn. The question is, who am I targeting? I think I target... There's no easy target, I'd say. I get rid of Gardevoir. Do I live the last respect? I guess that's the question. Do I live the last respect? Bass comes out. Fortunately, I don't have a way, I think, to guarantee seal this endgame. I'm like really close to sealing up this endgame, but there's a few things that could go a little bit scary. I think we yawn to Bask. And we protect the Frostlass here. Yeah, I think we protect the Frostlass and click Yawn. I think it would have been guaranteed locked if Meowstic didn't get crit, because I think we lived the Arch Attack guaranteed, but we'll see. Last Respect into the Frostlass, okay. Flash Cannon, oh, actually they doubled, okay. Light Screen wears off, which is fine. I think we set up the Light Screen again. I think this might come down to the Sneasler KO to Arch. But I think we always Shadow Ball the Basket Legion. Wait, hold on. Did I get my Yawns off? I did get my Yawn off. Actually, no, I need to Yawn the Arch first. I need to Yawn the Arch first. Shadow Ball the Bask. And Yawn. I think I live last respect because I have Reflect Up plus the Snow, but we'll see. Oh, never mind. I do not. Granted, I still think it's close. The problem is I don't know if Sneasler lives with Reflect and Light Screen to double Flash Cannon plus Fang. If I lived a double up of Last Respect plus Flash Cannon through the screens, I should definitely have gone into Sneasler and click Light Screen there. I still think that this is pretty okay for me because I'm pretty sure with Sneasler... Oh boy, wait, no, this is bad. I'm going to have to hope for a 2-turn with Bask. Yeah, I have to hope for a 2-turn with Bask. Oh, that's unfortunate. The reason I have to hope for a 2-turn with Bask is because I need 2 Throat Chops to KO the Bask, and if I don't KO the Archchild on... Okay, good play on their part. Oh, I think I think I lose here. I was really hoping that with the... I was hoping to incentivize not protecting there, because I was hoping that they would try to get damage off. I should have double Throat Chop the Bask. Now my play is to hope that I live. I mean, I don't know if I'll live the Last Respect. We'll see. Oh, and they woke up instantly, so it's over. Last Respect. Unless I crit Throat Chop. I don't even think that KOs Bask though, because Bask is bulky. Yeah, I would have lived crit Throat Chop. I guess I needed to read on a Protect there. I was hoping I'd get my Unburden boost and then I'd be able to close combat the Arch and then double Throat Chop, but I don't know. The game plan probably then was still unworth it. I had a really good start. Where did it go wrong? I guess the calc was pretty bad. I think what I should have probably done, looking back at it, I think the play was to Light Screen sack Sneasler. I think Light Screen sack Sneasler was better looking back at it. And the reason I think it's better, because if Sneasler survives, I probably win the game instantly. And if I don't, it's still alright because I bring in Frostlass, the Basket Legion's asleep. I can Light Screen Shadow Ball the Bask. I have Light Screen up, then I can Yawn the Archhalidon and then stall it out, I think. Alright, we have Charizard, Basket Legion, Whimsicott, Glimmora, Farigiraf, and Garchomp. So this is the Farigiraf version of this team, which is okay. Does it change anything? I mean, if they bring Farigiraf, it's a bit annoying because I can't Yawn, yet I don't know if they're actually going to bring it or not, which is a good question. Hopefully not, but because I'm going to stick with the same game plan. However, Yeah, it could change things quite a bit. I don't need Sneasler as much though, because Sneasler was mainly there to help out against King Gambit, so I can adjust my game plan. I'm definitely bringing Frostlass still because there's a Garchomp, still good into Bass. I guess I can bring King Gambit now, or I could bring my own Basky Legion. Both are pretty good here. Which one would I prefer more? I think just in case it's Scarf Basket Legion, I'd probably prefer the King Gambit so I can Sucker Punch, and it might help out against the Farigiraf if Farigiraf is brought, but we'll see. Let's decide what my opponent decides to bring here, or what do they decide to bring here, because this is going to be a good question. What are you leading? Whimsicott Glamora. Okay, I don't know if this is ever... I'm not sure if this is always the lead here. I guess they can Encore me and stuff, but... Is there a problem with just clicking Whirlpool and Yawn? I think I could just Whirlpool and Yawn the Whimsicott. Do I want to trap the Whimsicott though, or do I want to trap the Glamora? Actually, both of these Pokemon don't do well into King Gambit. I could just Whirlpool Light Screen, right? Yeah, I don't need to Yawn. I could just Light Screen, trap these Pokemon in, and then that'd be pretty good for my King Gambit. So, you know what? I'm going to Light Screen, and I'm going to go for Whirlpool. I don't need to Yawn these Pokemon. Alright, looks like they just Moonblasted here, which is perfect here. As we're going to see a Moonblast come out, and it targets down Meowstic. Perfect, okay. And Sludge Bomb double up. Okay, so they really want the Meowstic gone, which is nice. No poison. Citrus Berry heals. Excellent. I am able to get a Whirlpool off. Now the Glim is trapped, and now I can go for the same thing into the Whimsicott, which is pretty solid for me, I'd say, because King Gambit against these Pokemon, looking pretty good. I would want to keep Meowstic around, especially for that Rain Dance for the Charizard, so I think my opponent probably knows the team and wants to get rid of Meowstic ASAP. We're going to go for the Whirlpool. We're going to go to King Gambit. They could read this and go for a... like Earth Power, I suppose, but with the Light Screen, we should be eating it up fine. We do see the Moonblast come out into King Gambit once again. Yeah, we take it extremely well. They do Sludge Bomb though, perfect. So I should live Earth Power plus Moonblast the following turn. We do get a Whirlpool off into the Whimsicott, and now the Whimsicott is trapped in as well as the Glim. So both Pokemon just locked in at this point. I can go for a Scald into the Glamora, and I can go for an Iron Head here, and should be pretty good. I don't think I need to lock myself into Whirlpool at this point because all the Pokemon are already trapped in. Might as well just go for the KOs now. So we go for Iron Head and we go for Scald. I'm pretty sure that Moonblast and Earth Power is not KOing the Gambit in this range, so I feel pretty good about just going for attacks. Whimsicott could protect here, I suppose, but granted, I've already gotten a pretty good amount of momentum right now because I'm just getting the damage off. So we're going to see the Encore come out of Milotic, which is fine. I still think I get a double knockout here, which is amazing for me. They go for the Earth Power into the King Gambit, and as you can see, ooh, actually Moonblast would have been close. That Earth Power did more than I expected, actually. Okay, I do get a Whirlpool off into the Glim, take the knockout, and then Iron Head will also fall up into the Whims. I get a crit, but it doesn't matter because it would have gone down either way from the residual damage, but a double knockout is pretty good here for me. So here comes an Iron Head into the Whimsicott, takes the knockout. I guess dealing with Charizard could still be a bit of a pain here, though, because it depends on how much Last Respect does. However, should be in an okay spot, I suppose. Charizard. Oh, it's Garchomp back. Okay. We should be good then. I think Frostlass is in a really nice spot. So we can go for Whirlpool into the Charizard plus a Sucker Punch also into Charizard. I'm not really too worried about the Garchomp with the Frostlass. We just need the damage into the Charizard. If they go for Protect EQ, this is fine. It actually works out better if they Protect EQ, I think. Oh, Stomping Tantrum. That's cool by me as well. Okay, so King Gambit goes down, but now I can go for Rain Dance Whirlpool into Charizard seems pretty nice. Yeah, I think I go for that. The problem is they can Rock Slide flinch, which is the only annoying part about this endgame plan, but I think it's still the best play that I do have access to. So we are going to go for a Whirlpool into the Charizard, get that residual damage, and we are going to go for a Rain Dance. I could go for Yawn, but I mean, here's the thing. If they Mega Evolve or if they don't Mega Evolve, the Whirlpool does a lot of damage. Might put in range of Blizzard, so the game might be over just from that. So they are going to Mega Evolve to get the damage output, and let's see how much the Rain Dance plus Whirlpool combination into the Charizard does, because if I get a good amount of damage, I should just put in range of Frostlass to win the game, hopefully. Which is kind of the goal here. So we set up the Rain Dance. So the Rain is up against this Charizard. Scale Shot. Ooh, it's fast. Garchomp. Okay. Only gets 2 hits. Okay. I think I'll live the attack then from the Garchomp or from the Charizard. Yeah, they went for Heat Wave. Milotic dodges, but that would have done like 0. Yeah, I live with Meowstic too. Okay, nice. And I do get a Whirlpool off into the Charizard. Puts it pretty low, and now it's looking pretty solid for me to win this game. Because I can go for like Reflect. Plus Scald here. Light Screen wears off. There's so much I could do. I think it's a Lumberry Chomp. I could Yawn the Chomp if I think that guarantees the win. But I think it's just Scald the Charizard and just Reflect. Yeah, I don't see a problem with this. Even the Charizard protects is not that big of a deal because I can protect Frostlass the following turn. Let's see. Do you have Rock Slide? And are you going for Rock Slide? But I don't think you do. Oh, you actually do. You just don't have Earthquake. Okay. Sure. A Weather Ball, that's fine. Yes, it goes down. I mean, it could still be a bit scary, but I should have enough tools against a Chomp, generally. Nice. Okay, I should win the game, guaranteed then. Okay, we get rid of the Charizard, and now we have Milotic and Frostlass versus a Garchomp. I think we're good. I think we're good. They have to spam Rock Slide several times. They're going to forfeit because they probably realize, yeah, you're probably Frostlass in the back, and we do take the win. So, nice. Big trapping with Milotic. That's what this team does. Charizard, King Gambit, Whimsicott, Aerodactyl, Sneasler, and Garchomp. No Pesky Legion on this team is very interesting, but okay, pretty much Tailwind offense. It's interesting to see both Whimsicott and Aerodactyl. I don't know if it's Mega on Aerodactyl, as well as Charizard should always be a Mega. Could be Sash on Whimsicott or Sash on the Aerodactyl. I'm thinking it's Sash Whimsicott and probably Mega Arrow, but it could also be Sash Sneasler too. So a lot of things that I do have to consider here. They don't have a great way of breaking through Milotic with this, so I do think Milotic is just really solid. So I will go with Milotic, probably plus Meowstic. Seems really strong here. Then in the back, they have a King Gambit, so I think I would probably want to bring my Sneasler, and then I think I want to bring Frostlass because it's good in the Garchomp as well as the Charizard. So let us see. Or it's not really that great into Charizard, but at least having multiple ways to change the weather. If Meowstic goes down early, I do want the ability to be able to go for a way to change the weather once again. So we see King Gambit Garchomp lead, which is completely fine by me. All right. Versus Meowstic and the Milotic. So I'm okay with this. I'm cool with just going for a Whirlpool into the... So this is probably either Rock Slide or Dragon Claw here, which is fine. They might be scared of potential Ice move. I'm more worried about the King Gambit. I think we go for a Whirlpool into King Gambit and just get a Reflect up, which I think is probably the best play. I would like to trap the King Gambit if they give me the King Gambit. So let us see. As we do get a Reflect up. And we see Dragon Claw, probably Dragon Claw Kowtow double up into Meowstic. This might not KO depending on the Gambit, but here comes a Whirlpool into the Gambit slot, which is nice. So we'll get residual damage every turn. And Swords Dance. Okay, that's kind of spooky. Okay, so Swords Dance Gambit. Although we should be tanking attacks just fine. And that means Sneasler should be in a good spot. So I think I'm just going to go for a Whirlpool into the Garchomp and a Yawn into the Garchomp now. I should live a double up with Kowtow plus Dragon Claw. And they switch out the Garchomp into something. Something's getting Whirlpool plus Yawn. And if it's a Charizard, that's insane for me. That's insane for me. So I get a Yawn off into the Charizard. Please, Milo, hit this. Hit this. Hit this. Nice. Oh, the Charizard's the biggest threat, man. Charizard's always like public enemy #1. Once I get rid of these two Pokemon, Frostas is looking really good, and they're gonna take the knockout into the Meowstic for me. Beautiful. Okay, excellent. Could not have asked for anything better. Okay, nice. If I had Protect on the Sneasler, this would have been the greatest position of all time. Unfortunately, we only have Substitute. We're going to Sneasler though, and we're gonna click Substitute, and we're gonna click Protect. Yeah, we're gonna Protect. Man, imagine if I had Protect here. We're gonna click Sub, and we're gonna Protect with the Milo. As long as this isn't max speed, timid max speed Charizard, we should be fine. If it's modest, we're completely set. I guess they could go for Kowtow theoretically into Sneasler, but that is such a risky play. We'll find out. I can see Kowtow and a Milo. I don't know about Sneasler. Let's find out. They could Sucker attempt the Sneasler as well, but let's find out. What are you clicking? They Sucker Punch. Okay, cool. So I do get the sub up guaranteed. Nice. Okay, really good turn. Because I should live a Sucker Punch from the Gambit, and I can Life Dew heal, which is cool. They go for Heat Wave. Beautiful. Excellent, excellent. Things are going exactly according to plan right now. So we burn the Heat Wave here, and the Whirlpool residual damage to the Charizard is always great, but that Charizard is going to sleep and is guaranteed to sleep. The King Gambit is still trapped in, which is solid, and now I can go for a Life Dew close combat. You might be thinking I could Scald a Charizard. I don't want to risk me KOing the Charizard and them getting a free switch, because I want the Charizard because it's more likely that the Charizard is going to be useless at this point. So we're going to go for Life Dew, and we're going to go for Close Combat. We should live Sucker Punch, I think, from the Gambit easily. Yeah, as they go for Sucker Punch. Yeah, we easily lived that Sucker Punch. Wow. That did less than I thought, actually. Is this Black Glasses even? I do get the Close Combat KO into the King Gambit. Oh, yeah, because I had to Reflect Up, right? I had to Reflect Up. I also, the last turn, I want to scout for potential the King Gambit from Protect, and then going for like a Weather Ball. So this works out perfectly. I do get the White Herb active, and I do get a Life Dew to heal my Sneasler back to full. And now with the Burden Boost, I outspeed the Charizard, and if I get rid of Charizard, it's pretty good for my Frostlass cleaning up. So let's see who's being brought out. Is it Garchomp or is it Basket Legion? Basket Legion is the only... Oh, it's Whimsicott back. Okay. So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So I go for Dire Claw and Scald. The Whirlpool doesn't change anything here. Yeah, I think I just go for Scald and Dire Claw. I target the Zard even if they go for Protect, because if they Encore, I think I get random target potentially. So yeah, they do go for Encore. I could have Close Combat the Charizard, but if they didn't go for Encore, it was still reasonable for me to go for this play. But I do get the Close Combat off into the Charizard. I do take the knockout, and I think that's good for the setup in the back, which is going to be my Frostlass should clean up this game. But of course, there could be things that could go wrong here, of course, so we got to keep that in mind. However, it's looking really hard for them to break through. Reflect wears off finally. However, let's see. There's always Rock Slide Flinch, so I'm not out of the woods just yet. Garchomp comes out. I think I always Scald the Garchomp, and I think I Close Combat the Garchomp too. Because, well, does Close Combat into Whimsicott matter? Not really. I guess it comes down to Milo endgame. Actually, no, I Close Combat the Whimsicott, because Endeavor doesn't matter because Frostless is a Ghost type. I guess it could matter for Milo. But they still have to flinch out the Frostlass like crazy. So I think this is still fine. The Tailwind goes up. It's Scarf Chomp or a Fast Chomp. Scarf likely because it went for Stomping. If it's Scarf, it makes my life so much easier, but we'll find out, I guess. If we get a Scald Burn right now, it makes my life so much easier. It just means I can't get like scammed out of the game basically, but we don't get the Scald Burn, so gonna come down to the Frostlass. Ideally, we get some Scalds, or hopefully we just get this. We just need to get one Blizzard off, basically. Just get one Blizzard off, and we win the game. Double Ice Week, please. Like I set this up, I think the best I could have asked for. Getting the trap of Charizard plus the King Gambit, and setting up for Frostlass is an immaculate spot. Just come on, Frostlass, please get the Blizzard off. Okay, this is potentially bad. Okay. Even if I just hit one, it's okay. Okay. Frostlass to goat. Okay. I still think even if I knew there was a sunny day, I would definitely still go for Blizzard regardless because Shadow Ball's not getting a KO, but oh my goodness. I think as long as I hit one, whether it's Whimsicott, that means Milotic should be able to wall to Garchomp, especially with a Scald Burn potentially incoming. And if I KO the Garchomp, I don't think Whimsicott was beating me on its own because I could just Shadow Ball the following turn. So I felt like it was good there, but you never know. So how was the team? Well, I think Meowstic and Milotic were really, really good, especially if you don't know what this combination does, and if you don't have a great way of breaking through the bulky water types that isn't like Solar Beam from Charizard Y. Yeah, like it's really hard to just break through Milotic. The Yawn is just so disruptive, especially with that Whirlpool damage that constantly adds up. But of course, there are things that can be annoying with this team. Of course, you're playing a long passive game with screens, more likely to get crits, which is something that could really disrupt you. Missing a Whirlpool especially can be devastating in some situations because you might be taking some damage that you just really couldn't afford to and then just lose a lot of momentum that way because Whirlpool isn't the most accurate move out there, so that is one weakness that the Milotic does provide. But of course, when it does work, can be super strong. As we saw, it was really powerful, especially with Milotic just unable to go down in some cases. That Whirlpool damage was just able to add up. It was fantastic overall. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.